The constitutional requirement for any state to be able to levy that burden on you to collect and remit back to that state is called nexus. Essentially, it's a term that means you have a sufficient contact with that state so that it's not a burden on interstate commerce for that state to actually impose any kind of burdens on you. Well, that's the legal mumbo jumbo, but what does it actually mean? Well, your nexus has to be substantial. So generally people talk about physical presence. If you got a physical presence in a state, you definitely collect in that state. If you have an office building, if you have a warehouse, that's easy. Amazon.com, for instance, only collects in a certain amount of states because they have warehouses in those states. Otherwise, you can buy off of Amazon and they do not charge you sales tax unless you live in one of those states. And also if you maintain a sales force. If you have any kind of sales force in that state, then that's enough of a contact for that state to say, yeah, you got to collect sales tax whenever you sell into my state. The question is, from the internet perspective, is what is a sales force? States are becoming very aggressive now in defining that very broadly. Basically changing the presumption of what that means to be soliciting business in that state. And what I have here in the second bullet is from New York, the state of New York. Basically, they changed their presumption of when you think you might have to collect sales tax. If you enter any kind of agreement with a resident of that state.